You won't believe the story I'm about to tell you. This story is so fantastic, more fantastic than a sci fi movie. Just a few people know about this story. I never told this story before. This is the first time I'm gonna make this public. The reason why I wait more than 30 years to tell this story is because one, I didn't believe this story has something of value to add to other people. But in reality, what I was doing was hiding because you see, the things that happens and that I'm about to tell you won't believe. It will be tagged as just a story, fantastic, impossible that it happened. Yet it happened and it's real. And the reason why I'm doing it now is because I'm a life coach. I was even certified by Robbins Madana's training before I do this next step in my life. I had to tell this story because in reality, I did not believe that my story did not have any value. The reason was it because I was afraid. I had fear of sharing this story because this story is so fantastic. How am I gonna share that with people? Now, I'm sharing this not because I want popularity and not because I want clicks or anything like that. In fact, I'm sharing this because this story, what I'm about to tell you, is holding me back. And I'm a human, like anyone else, with fears, a person that need love and love back, that love their family. Like you, I have my strength and I have my weaknesses. I'm a normal person with a twist. I have some stories that are very fantastic. And I realized in the past 5 years that I had to tell the story. So in 2018, when I decided that I had to go for life coaching, this story became an obstacle. Let me tell you what is the story about. This story is a series of events. I call it magical events. And all started when I was 2 years old or less. I still remember a creature of light visited me. It feels welcoming, warm, and familiar. That was the most strange feeling. And also, I remember eating something white and very, very delicious. It was my first excitement at my 2 years old or less. And how do I know is 2 years old? Because in my 20s, I asked my Mom, you remember giving me something delicious when I was 2 years old? Something white? She didn't know what it was at the moment. But then after thinking about it, she said, well, remember something. It was white, it was small, it was a little pellet that I gave you because your teeth they were growing. And that's supposed to alleviate your pain, the Humphreys. And I look it up, the Humphreys pellet, to see what is the composition. Guess what? It's made out of sugar. That happened at my 2 years old. No big deal. Nothing that fantastic, right? It could be my imagination. Fine. At my 4 years old, I passed out. And then I wake up in the hospital. And the doctors they were saying that I had to have surgery because I had appendicitis. After the whole procedure ended, one of the doctors told my mom, and my mom told me that she said someone is looking out for Angel because he had the appendix so bad. It's a miracle that he survived. So, pure luck, maybe. Good doctors, probably. Then my life continues. And when I was 12 years old, I convert to Christianity. I remember one day my church, it creates an outside activity where they invited this preacher that he was popular for giving foot key for people that had flat feet. So he would pray for them, and people that has flat feet, after the praying, they will have every foot with a key. The army forces, they don't even hire people with flat feet. It's so bad that they don't even hire people. You can be all good that you want, but if you have flat feet, they won't hire you. So it's a big deal. That day he preached and he said everything about Jesus Christ and everything. At the end, he asked for people to come forward, people that had flat feet, to receive the miracle I did because I had flat feet. I checked with my aunt, Edith, rest in peace, and I had flat feet. So I moved up from where he was, and now he told me to take out my shoes and my socks, and he prayed for me. At first, I didn't notice anything. He applied some oil as well, and at first I didn't notice anything. I went back to home. I watered my feet and stepped into dry floor, and guess what? Yep, I did not have flat feet anymore. But not only that, after he prayed for people with flat feet, I saw him praying for people that had bad denture or bad teeth, and he prayed for them, and you can see how gold and silver it was appearing in their teeth all over. It was incredible. Okay, all right. Maybe it was everything, from my imagination. Maybe. But what about my feet? What about my feet? That is there. That is physical. I had flat feet. And I will I remember my dad when I was younger. I remember he put me in a piece of fresh concrete. I had my feet right there where you can see I had flat feet, but I don't know what he I don't know what he did with that. I would love to have that as a evidence. But I don't. You have my word. um, but yeah, my feet is right there, and I can see every day. I can step water. Sometimes I water my feet just to be sure. It was not my imagination, and I step on dry floor. Okay, okay, I have a feet with a arc. That's the word I've been looking for. It's right there, so it's undeniable. Now, after that, I live more or less a normal life between 13 and 15. You know, it was 2 years, 3 years of normal life. When I turned 16 years old, here is where everything is gonna change dramatically. When I was 16, I remember feeling the urgency stuck with my pastor. I called him and I told him, Pastor, I need to talk to you. I feel something is not right. I don't feel well. He put me in his calendar. He gave me an appointment. I went to the appointment, visited him at his office, which is was inside the church, and I started talking to him and telling him about what was going on. And at some point, apparently, I said something that inspired him to pull some kind of book. He pulled this book and he started reading these questions back to me. And after a few questions, he put the book back to somewhere in his desk. And he told me, "Okay, I want to pray with you." Okay, we begin to pray, and here is where everything is gonna get interesting and crazy because he began to pray, and after he began to pray, I begin to feel something nasty. I begin to feel a presence that was not good. Now I'm gonna use a word that I did not use back then because Christians don't use that word. But what happened, I was channeling an entity and I connect so profound with this entity that first the entity was surprised that I could see him or her or it. I began to channeling his language. And his language, it was so old. It feels thousands upon thousands years old language. And I start speaking what he was thinking. When I was channeling what he was thinking, the language, I was speaking a language, it does not sound to any language that you and me know. The praying continues, and this whole situation it turns into a spiritual battle because he figures that now I know him. Now I know his or her or its intentions. And his, her, its intention was to feed out of my family and the generations to come. That was the reason of that entity. He was feeding out of our fears, anger, and all the negative emotions. And this entity, it was old, older than dust. It was very old. And he was not happy because he knew what was going to happen. He finally encountered someone that can battle face to face to him, face to face, and kick him out from our DNA. But not only that, during the battle, it became so intense, so exhausting that my energies they were depleted. I asked for help and someone else showed up. Guess who? The entity that appears when I was 2 years old. That entity of light, warm energy, and familiarity. That entity. The energy is in form of female energy. All these years, it's been showing her energy as a female. So I guess it's a female. But that's not important. What is important is that she show up. And she show up with so power, with so strength, that she put some kind of image in top to protect me because she came to aid me and my family. She came to ban this entity from my life and from the life of my family forever. And at that moment, I think She appears at my 2 years old, preparing me for this moment. She didn't want this entity to feed out from our negative emotions. She wanted to protect us. She wanted to protect me and my family. And finally, the day came and we were battling this fight. And this entity lose, finally lose. At the last moment, when this entity was weakened and ready to go, I call it my angel. My angel infuses me with her energy. And I still remember that it was so much power that for a moment I felt like I'm God. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's how it felt. So much power that she channeled through me that my mind thought I'm a God. And in that moment, I command this entity to get out from me and my family forever. And then I saw the darkness opening, a big door open, and the entity went through that door, and the door closes, and the battle was over. I was so exhausted that my pastor, another person that he called during the spiritual battle, they had to help me to stand up and sit in a chair. I did not have enough energy. I was completely depleted. After that, I saw an improvement, a great improvement of my family quality of life. After that, you notice that everything went from good to better. It's because of that. Because that entity, it was banned. It was not in our life anymore. In fact, I see how my family now is, progressing. They are having a better life. Now my new nieces and nephews, they are in better school. Everything is better now. But it doesn't end there. The impact in the real world does not end there. Something in in that spiritual battle, something changed in my brain. Something clicked, something opened, something. Because I developed a healing skill. I didn't have to go through the Reiki process. I did not have to train to be a Reiki master. I became a Reiki master through this spiritual battle. Because after that, I still remember my sister, she had some problem with a surgery she had. And she felt that, it, a great pain. She couldn't move from the bed. And she felt a great pain. And I say, okay, so wait a moment. I went to the kitchen, grabbed a little glass, and pour some oil, some cooking oil, and I pray for the oil. And I ask God to bless that oil to heal my sister. And I pray, and the first thing that I notice about the oil is that the oil, it did not smell like oil. It smelled like roses. Mm, unbelievable. It does not smell like oil. I was even surprised myself, but not that surprised. No, not the face that I'm putting right now. I was focused on heal my sister in that moment, right? And but I noticed the oil smelled like roses. So I went to my sister. I put I poured some oil in my hands and I did this, right? This was her belly, right? And this is my healing hand. And I was about to do this. And without touch her, she farted. And the pain is gone. I didn't even have to touch her. Not only that, it's funny. Sorry, sister. I had to tell the whole story. I had to tell all this story. I had to get it out. Sorry. And most important, after that, she didn't feel any more great pain. She was sore from the surgery, but not the pain that she had, that she was sweating and shaking. No more. That was the last time. Until she healed completely. After that, I had a girlfriend that I told her, you you have to see the doctor. Something is not right down there. And she told me, how do you know? Well, you gotta go to the doctor. And she went to the doctor, not knowing the reason exactly. She told the doctor that she wanted to do some tests down there to see if everything is okay. She did some tests, and the doctor said, you came in the right moment because you had the first stage of cancer. In this stage, we can do something simple and clean it, and the problem will be fixed. The doctor says, let me tell you, thank God that you came this early because most people don't. Because in this phase, people don't feel anything, so they don't, you know, reach out to the doctor. She told me that, and she asked me again, "How did you know?" Well, I told her, "Well, I really didn't know it was cancer. I just felt that something was wrong down there, and that you needed to visit a doctor." Another experience that happened after or before that, I don't remember well, but it was a boost in spirituality among my family. I see my sister impacting people through their music, through her music, through her voice. I saw my dad and a spiritual boost as well because one day he receives the news about that his comadre has terminal cancer. The cancer was so aggressive, it was so bad, invaded 90% of her body cells. It was everywhere. And the doctor says, can't, call everyone to tell them can't come to the hospital because she won't survive one more day. She has only one more day. The cancer is so aggressive that she's gonna pass in at any moment. You know, we went there, my mom, my dad, and me, and I remember back then that he was feeling this spirituality boost, right? And he went there and he said, "She's not gonna die." He said to the doctors, "She's not gonna die." And the doctors argue with him. She had cancer. She's gonna die in less than one day. And he said, "No, she's not gonna die. Let me see her." He went there, prayed for her, and command the cancer to go away. And guess what? The cancer did. Next day, she did not. She had cancer only in the tip of the toe. Unbelievable. She survived. The cancer was gone. And what was the explanation of the doctor? They couldn't explain it. A miracle. But they won't use that word, miracle. So they couldn't explain it. But it happened. And she survived. And she lived many years more after that. They had to cut. only a fraction of their toe. After that, I'm going to tell you the most crazy story about this experience. And it was my aunt, Iris. She had a second massive stroke. They put the tubes in the machine to keep her alive. However, the doctor said that she died. She was dead. Her brain was dead. Her husband and her daughter, which both they were arguing about uh, to disconnect her or not. Her husband wanted to disconnect her because he didn't want her to suffer anymore, more than he should. Her daughter was arguing that not, that we should wait. And I was listening to this. And I went to my aunt. I grabbed her hand and touched her and asked, Titi Iris, are you there? And I closed my eyes. And now grabbing her hand, I touched her head. Titi Iris, are you there? And I see her picture appearing in my mind. She was struggling, but definitely she was there. And not only struggling, she was struggling with an entity. This entity was very ugly. It was it was not human. It has some humanoid shape. Her or its head, it was round and big. Its shape, it was weird. It was, I couldn't see legs, but definitely I could see some arms or what it looks like arms. And while I was channeling TTE's energy, the entity looked at me, surprised that I could see it. Surprised. And then she, it desperately start grabbing TTE's soul and trying to pull her. I can see him. I can see him, her, it, hasting, trying to steal her soul, her energy. When I am seeing that, and I command it to release her, he gets angry. He, she, it gets angry. Angry. And I can channel his energy, his, her, it energy. And he, she, it was thinking how this is possible. That never happened before to it. And I command him, her, it to release her. And at that moment, because I was Christian, I used Jesus Christ. And I say, in the name of Jesus Christ, release her. And he did. When that happened, I knew Titiiri was back to her body. I asked Titiiri, Titiiri, if you are there, squeeze my hand. And she did. And I was so happy. And I called my cousin, her daughter, and her husband, and I told them, Titi is here. And they were arguing at the door of the room, and they look at me, Titi is here. And they look at me again like confused, like, what? Titi is here. She's back. My cousin, she went to the bed, and I told her, I'll show you. She's here. And I told her, Titi, if you're here, move your left foot. Your daughter's here. And she did. She moved the foot. And my cousin, she went straight running to the doctor. Come here, come here. My mom is alive. Come here. And they came, blah blah blah. And they came, and I was there, and right, and I told them, she's here. She's not dead. And I explained, she moved, she squeezed my hands, she moved the foot. And they say, no, because that is a reflection of the body. The brain sends signals to the arms and legs, but that is just a reflection. Okay? All right. Okay. 1 second. I'm gonna tell her what's going on, because she can open the eyes, but she can hear me, and I'm connected to her, and I'm gonna tell her to move the foot. And I said, Didi, the doctors are here. They don't believe you're here. Please move your left foot so they can see that you're here. And she did. She moved the left foot. I would love to have a camera to record their faces of surprise. And the doctor, it was a male and a female. And the male doctor, he said, no, that is a reflection, blah, blah, blah. The female, she was inside. And I said, okay, all right, Titi, they don't believe you're here. Please move the right foot so they can believe. And she did. She moved the right foot in front of them. To make the long story short, Titi wake up in 2 days and went back to home in 1 week, and she recovers from that in about a few weeks completely. What I'm telling you is, from being dead to be alive, that's crazy. And that is right there the exact reason I hide. I hide for many years because I didn't want to tell this story, and people think that I'm trying to make people believe that I'm some kind of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was Jesus Christ, an angel and doer, a simple guy that, because of the circumstances of life, developed some spiritual skills. I don't even want to call them spiritual because they're not spiritual. They are skills. They are there. Everyone, most of people has these skills. It's just they are dormant. But I'm like anyone else, okay? And I told you this is gonna get crazy, but there's more. there is more. Now that I told you the most crazy one, I think it's time to stop. I feel good about this. I finally make public the most crazier story that I have. The one that made me hide from the world. And I told my doctor, my psychologist, I told my doctor, I don't know why. I had to do this video because there's it doesn't make sense to fear this story because people, they won't believe me. So what am I afraid of? You won't believe me this happened? This is my story. It didn't happen to you. So why are you gonna believe me? And why you care? So why I'm so afraid of telling this story? It doesn't make sense. So as I was tired of feeling fear, I hate with passion feeling fear. I don't like it. I don't like it. I still remember when I was young, I was sleeping in a bed. When I was 10 or 11, something like that. The windows, I was afraid that someone it was gonna throw a grenade through the window, or someone with red eyes is gonna look through the windows and steal my soul or something like that. I don't know. Ridiculous. And I was so tired when I turned 12. I was so tired of being afraid of being having that fear that I face it. I say, you know what? This is gonna end today. So I opened all the windows, completely open, and I went to bed. And I hunkered down inside the sheet and the cushions, and I slept there. And next day, I noticed I survived. Nothing happened, and the fear was gone. So the same thing I'm doing with this video. There is more. I have more stories about healing, about people getting healed. I have stories about uh, meeting the Hat Man. Do you know the Hat Man? I do. Entities, all sort of stories. But the most crazy one is that one: praying for someone that was dead and came back to life. That is that is Jesus Christ level there. And I was so afraid to tell the story. And I feel something like telling that story publicly. I feel something. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense because you will hear this and you say, ah, it's that was just pure coincidence, or you won't care, right? Either way, I don't care either. You know, if you believe it or not, it's not the point. It's my life. So why I'm so afraid of this? So now that I'm doing it, I feel conquering the fear, and that's what I want. Conquer the fear. I don't want to feel fear. I want to be in control of my life, to to help everyone that I can. But I can if I feel fear. But I can do it with full power. Now I can go with full as a life coach, impact their life, make changes in my life and their life and your life. I can talk with passion now. Now that this fear is going away, finally. This video, it was about me, but I have to end it like, listen, I have to tell you what I just learned from this video. You have to face your fears. For most scarier that your fears appears to be, it is less than you think. And this story was my fear, my biggest fear. If you hear the story, you will say, well, I don't see anything there. That's, some crazy story, but not big deal, right? Right? Exactly. So fear is that it doesn't make sense. It's irrational. But one important thing, I couldn't done this without the support of my wife and my psychologist, my great psychologist, Dr. Fuentes. Thank you. And thank you to my wife. And thank you. I want to thank they did not intervene directly, my family, but I want to thank my family for to be the way they are. This My family is great. They are great people. They are having a good life. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. I'm so happy. So if you're gonna take something out of this video, which I don't know if you get this because it's almost an hour recording, crazy. If you're gonna get something from this video, look for support. A psychologist, a life coach, your pastor, spiritual leader, whoever, someone that you trust, that have knowledge, that is professional, and that can help you to get rid of those fears. Because if you have not achieved what you're looking for in life, I'm telling you, without shadow of a doubt, it's a fear that is holding you back. It's a fear that is still there that you have not faced. And that is what is stopping you to reach greatness. That is what is stopping you. So you have to understand first how you work. Face it and then look for help. And I promise you, this is so liberating. What I'm doing right now, this is so liberating. I can feel the power. I can feel the energy is pouring to the universe, the sky, everywhere. I can feel it. You don't want to live in fear. This is the worst thing that you can do. This is the worst thing that I did. Holding this story back, holding me back for just this story. Now I can put it publicly, and I'm not even putting this video online yet. I'm still recording, but I can feel the power. I can feel the power. Man, I- you gotta get rid of those fears. I'm telling you, you gotta get rid of those fears. And I know that good things are gonna come next. I know great things are gonna happen more than ever. All right. So if you get something from this video, and if you want to contact me. You can send uh, a comment right here or whatever. Get rid of those fears. And I'm so happy I did this video. And you don't know, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Really. I'm gonna get rid of this fear completely. Gonna upload this video and get rid of this. I'm so happy. So happy. And I hope that you, you know, you get something from this video as well. I hope. I hope. If you do, share that with me. Definitely. Share that with me on the video. Definitely. Okay? Blessings. Take care. See you next time.